everyone, I'm Allie with PotomacBeads. In this Better Beader, I'm going to help you to identify what size your seed beads are. There's a lot of questions that come in through our social media postings, like our Facebook group for beading and jewelry making, as well as to our website and to our customer care team, that people inherit beads or they get them from neighbors or they need to do a repair and they're not exactly sure on the size of the bead and what they need to order or what patterns they can do to go along with them. If you don't already have beads and seed beads sitting around, it can be really hard to identify what size your seed beads are. Hopefully this Better Beader will give you some tricks to go ahead and measure out your beads to figure out what size they are. So this may be a familiar scene to you. You get beads or you, like I said, inherit them and you're given them and they're in little baggies with no information. It's great obviously if they come with information or if they're in a tube and all of the info is there, the size, the number, all of that good stuff. But what happens if you have a mass of beads, particularly seed beads, that don't have numbers associated with them and you're not sure what they are? Or you may even get a little mixed bag like this in a grab bag or something that you're not sure what size those beads are. There's a couple different helpful tools that you can use. And if you don't have these tools, chances are you have a ruler, and I'll go over how to help with that. So when you're looking at the beads, you can access on our website, and we'll put a link in the description below, which is always that little down arrow on the right-hand side if you're on a mobile device, or the description right underneath, hit that show more button, and we'll put links to this. On our site, we have some helpful guides showing you how many beads there are per inch for the different brands of seed beads. Now there's also Chinese seed beads, which you may inherit, and those are going to be a little bit off in size and off in consistency. However, you can usually use the measurements of the Toho beads when you're comparing to those items. So if you're not sure exactly what size your beads are here, you can do a process of elimination. So if I know if I have my Yuki brand or just trying them out, you can see that you have an approximation of kind of how many per gram that you're going to have when you're looking at it. So what I'm going to do is take a bunch of my beads and a needle, and I'm going to pick up an inch worth of my beads. So I'm just going to string on a needle and thread a bunch of beads. Once I get to an inch, I can use that helpful guide to look and see how many beads there are in my inch. So just kind of cleaning up my bead mat here, I can say, oh, I'm almost there. I'm right at that inch spot right here with these green seed beads. Count how many I have. There's 5, 10, 12, and I could probably get one more on there. And when I look, again, that gives me an idea. Okay, it's definitely not a 6 because there's more than 9 beads when I'm looking at this. I had 12, I probably could have gotten a 13th bead on there to get that inch, and this is an approximation, so I know right away it's an 8/0 seed bead. I can do the same for the different styles as well in case it's landing in between. If it's landing in between and I say, oh, you know, there's 28 beads or 29 beads, then I can look and say, all right, what else on this chart here has 29? This is a great little printout. I actually have it hanging on the bulletin board behind my desk. So that's a great helpful hint. It's also another Better Beader episode that we've done. The other thing that you can do is grab a caliper. So the caliper, again, is going to give you an approximation on the size. So I can take one of these beads out here. I have the digital caliper that I can grab and say, all right, what size is this bead and what's the diameter of this bead? So I know a 6/0 seed bead is about 4 millimeter. So I can say, oh, 4.5, perfect. 4.4, 4.5, 4.4. That's going to be a 6/0 seed bead. You can also grab something else that is about that same size and say, oh yeah, it's about the size of a 4 millimeter bead. That means it's a 6/0. If I grab another one and I say, oh, this is about the size of a 2 millimeter bead, chances are it's an 8/0 seed bead. So I'll measure this guy here, 2.9 or 3.0. You can also grab a little caliper. It's going to make it a little harder to read a little bit, but same thing if you're a box subscriber to our subscription box, you would have gotten this, but you can do the same thing here. Read those lines over and say, oh, it's right there, a little bit less than 3 millimeter. That's how I get my measurement. You can also, again, if you're a box subscriber or we have these available on the site, you can look at them and figure them out based on this little diagram. So I can say, all right, here is my 8/0 seed bead, fits right in between, a little bit smaller than a 3mm. Here's my 6/0 seed bead. Does it fit? Yep, fits right on that 4mm. And my 11/0 is going to be right about 2mm. And it fits right on that as well. So you can line it up with the chart and try to figure out exactly what size they are when you're looking at them. When in doubt, it's always nice, again, just to go back to that needle method. Sticking it on a needle, accessing this wonderful little chart here that we've, again, done a different Better Beader on for a different subject, and see how many beads approximately are on each inch to give you a good estimate of what size your seed beads may be if you've inherited them. Again, it's not going to be all-inclusive, so make sure you realize that if it's not on the chart, chances are it's not one of those name brands, but it can help to give you an estimate, especially if you're looking what to do for a pattern for a lot of beads that you have. You can always search our website for the different size beads and patterns will pop up for you. I know this was a really simple Better Beader episode, but we get the question a lot. And those of you that watch and think, wow, how do you not know what size your seed beads are? Chances are people have never used seed beads that are asking those questions, that are inheriting those beads, getting those beads at a yard sale, or just happen upon them from a broken piece of jewelry. So hopefully that little helpful hint, and again, look at the description below to get a link to that chart, will help you to identify what size your seed beads are, or maybe even helpful for what brand they are, as you notice the difference between the sizes of beads per inch and the brand. Remember, you can also give helpful hints below in the description of this, You can leave your comments and say your methods for sizing your seed beads and how you've gone through, or how you've even inherited some of those beads and how your beading journey began. As always, guys, thanks so much for watching. And remember, Potomac Beaders, if you need anything, you can check us out at PotomacBeads.com. Thanks, and hopefully this Better Beader episode helped to make you improve in your craft. Stay tuned for the next video and join us as we create more.